Morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday the 16th, and it is 5:55 a.m. We are gathering sheep because today we are working the sheep with our vet on one of our sites. So it's going to be a jam-packed week working sites with the vet. Working all the bigger sites with the vet this week. So we're trying to start early and so we can not stress out the animals and ideally not stress ourselves out. So here we go.
I'm Dr. Hannah Barnell. I am a farm animal veterinarian that works mostly with production animal agriculture like sheep, cattle, swine, and have had the pleasure of working with the Grays and Grays Landscaping on solar grazing operations where we run their sheep flocks. One of the core vaccines is CDT, that's Clostridial Perfringens type C and type D, as well as tetanus, and that is one that also causes overeating disease, things that are very commonly morbidity and mortality causing in sheep. So it's a core vaccine. We need it done annually. We did it recently. We'll do it for the lambs and we'll booster them as well, and then they'll be on an annual schedule after that. We also added some risk-based vaccines. Foot rot, that's a vaccine that we were able to culture, isolate, and create a killed vaccine out of. There's not a labeled foot rot vaccine in the States commercially available, so we did this through an autogenous route. It takes anywhere from the fastest 8 to 12 weeks, but it took us about 6 months to ensure we had the correct isolates, and so we're trialing it out on these flocks out here because we're in the southeast and moisture is a constant issue, foot rot is a constant issue, and so while we can easily treat it, we have a really hard time preventing it, especially when we have limited pasture rotational availability. So we're going to see how that one goes as well. Lastly, we did a chlamydia abortus vaccine. Chlamydia is a bacterial disease that can cause abortion, especially in ewe lambs in their first breeding, in their first parturition cycle. So we vaccinated the ewe lambs that will be bred this fall because we presume that we have some chlamydia in the herd already based on commingling and the different sourcing of the flock that we have here. So we just want to help them increase their antibodies and resistance, or ability to fight off that, and not have abortion losses due to chlamydia this fall for the first time lambs.
Tell me you've had a long day and you're still have a couple days of long work to do with your vet. So these are samples we're going to send to the lab, bottles that we started to open, and then here's the rest of the medications that we still have to use. Never a dull moment. Long day. I think we clocked a 12-hour day today on farm working sheep. Morning, everybody. Today is day 2 of working the larger flocks up with the vet. So we're in the middle of doing the gather, and now we're gonna go down here. And I know one of the PPE questions that might come up is where was the PPE during that? Sorry, just got out to shut this gate and I forgot. Anyway, the PPE was when we're working the sheep, once we have them gathered, the sheep don't like those colors and the bright colors and stuff, so it's actually less stress on them if we don't wear it. So that's why once we had them all gathered and stuff, all the PPE came off, and that's when we worked the flock. So here we go, day 2.
All right, everybody, we're out here working sheep at the vet again. This time another one of our solar farms, and we're just taking a little group up to the next paddock. Gates up there. So we're just gonna walk them. Come by. There. Walk up. So we got any foot treatments that needed to be done. They're a little tender on their feet now, but away. We called hard for the lameness, but the CDT vaccinations, tagging lambs, we call marking lambs. Now we're going on to the next paddock. We'll take this group and we'll go back and get the next group. So we're done. Couple new lammies. Good boy. That'll do.
Guys, not as long of a day as yesterday. We got it all in, but we were dealing with all this weather. And so I didn't get a lot of filming in because we were running around trying to get the sheep done before the weather kicked in. We're now in severe thunderstorms.
gonna back up here. I was putting too much pressure on the front. My fault. Shh, Archer, don't herky jerky. Just be still. They're gonna. I know you just gotta relax. Just relax. We have to. I know we may have to. We may have to put a dog in to put pressure on him, or we'll just close it down.
You know the Roy one?
I know. Yeah, there's a lot of rams in here.
The painted desert in the back is red.
I'm sitting out here, third day of finishing up all the sheep, and it's a long week. Lots of good stuff. But my phone overheated, so I didn't get a lot of video, but luckily Marcus got some pictures and some other video, so we'll stitch it all together. You've probably already seen it at this point. Tomorrow you'll see we've got some more guardian dogs. We'll talk to Dr. Varnell, and we'll wrap up the whole week. So stay tuned.
Of course, we work through and, you know, pick out the cull animals. We don't want to keep things throughout the next year that aren't going to be productive and that have a higher risk of having morbidity and mortality. So some of these ewes are starting to get up there in age. Other things that we'll pull random fecals, we'll pull random blood tests to check for diseases like Johne's, OPP, liver flukes, which are surprisingly more prevalent in this area. So we'll still scan for all of those things that could devastate the flock over time and chronicity, and also help fix our biosecurity if we can catch that early and eliminate those girls from the flock before they spread it too much further.
Right, we do 2 culls a year, right? The summertime cull and then the fall before winter, right?
Yeah. And we check the girls that have the CL lesions that are external, and we'll mark those as cull as well, so we can reduce the amount of shedding for that pattern. So body condition score, that's an important one. If they have the appropriate nutrition available, there's no reason that they should be anything less than a 3 on a scale of 3 to 5, 3 being right where we want them, 3.5. So that's an important factor, as well as, you know, are they snotty? Do they have ocular discharge? Are they burdened with parasites? There are genetic factors to some of those diseases, and so we want to improve our genetics by eliminating the animals that are more susceptible to those diseases, despite having the elements to be successful, like proper nutrition, proper mineral. They've been vaccinated, but they're still getting those diseases, and they're probably a little on the weaker side, so we want to eliminate them from the flock, from the breeding flock.